Yeah, I need a haircut.
It's pretty crazy. Should be a smaller group than Hebrew. The Hebrew class just exploded in a good way, in a very good way. Yeah. And there is a book for this class as well. It's $18. You got it? Okay.
Oh, no, I need it.
Oh, okay. Do you have cash check? Even better, right? The cash check, or we can charge it to a temple account.
Oh, fabulous. Yeah, I need one
I
too.
just, I.
And I have cash as well. Let me see.
Well, I might have it, you tell me.
You can just.
Okay.
No, you're good. And what's your, Leslie?
Hi, Leslie.
Oh, you darn good. You already bought it. There you go.
Oh, I'll come over. Sorry. I'm Lori Gant at the bottom. And just put the change in the font.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I have a copy already.
already
but
have-
I forgot it at home.
You won't need it in class,
Oh, okay.
but I'll put that you have it. You have it already. No,
I bought one, I just hasn't shipped
No,
yet.
she's got them.
that's okay. But I'm just marking that you've got it. Okay. I can see. That's good. No, we probably won't be using. At least when I'm teaching, we're not going to be using this in class. It can be a good reference for some of the things we talk about, but it's going to be. It's more for you and for extra reading. The Hebrew, we're actively using the book in class. That's what we're done. Yeah.
Did you have a lot of people for the Hebrew class?
Yes.
We did. Actually, we had,
Counts on Stover, that was the.
oh my gosh, we had one. Twenty, and there's one who emailed me this morning that was not feeling well and felt so bad couldn't come. So that, yeah, but
Excellent. That's great.
and I don't know if there's, we'll find out if there's gonna be a waiting room for this or not. I don't know, because I've never run this. We're gonna open that up in case we see anybody in the waiting room. And I don't know if anyone's really joining, except possibly the person who's not feeling well, because the Hebrew class isn't gonna be on Zoom. That one's just too many people and too much, it's not gonna work on Zoom. Unless when we know more and the weather is horrible and we still want class and we can actually converse, but it's still too many people, I think. This class can be on Zoom if necessary, but I want, at least when I'm teaching, it's not gonna be a lecture. I don't have slides and things that we're just gonna be doing things. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I was gonna get some big paper. Let me run and get some big paper for us to do a little brainstorming, and then we'll get started when I come back. Well, maybe get started when I come back. And if anybody gets in the rain or something, thank you. Give you guys all power to start.
Oh, for a while. I don't know. Yeah. I told him, I wanted to go. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, doesn't do the guy things. You know, so.
The 101?
Like,
Or Judaism 101?
something
Sorry,
to
so you're here for Judaism 101?
But I do the yeah, I do the inside, like where the dogs live, so I had to do the.
Well, it's worse than that, you're also going to watch yourself
And
in
then,
3D.
and then.
Because he's got where
And then there's 8 million other things. You know, like. And. I didn't expect to go. I wondered. And then I was like, I really go in there and no, because it's the one is good. Yeah, since I'm already parked there. I knew. Yeah. You can have it come out of your temple account or however you want to do it. Yeah. I just, I
really like it.
I had it yesterday. I got cash out.
I promise.
I don't have any money.
You're also really in school.
He usually does. He's happiest as hell with it and like.
Probably because you're not, you're wondering about.
And
Everything 101.
Yeah, everything 101, and I just sort of like
girl down the
work
road.
on
And so like.
So this is all good.
So I still have to go.
Are you doing one of those like,
Get some change for her.
like freshman, like?
Cause every time I go into the office, I bring somebody eggs.
That's what I was listening to, like a friend that said about it, would make you basically write about a bunch of stuff and just like get yourself up to college standards.
Yeah, I'm taking a writing class. Yeah, I have one of those. I'm making my first assignment for that, and the teacher grade 166, 0. That's it.
I like the book too.
I don't have a
There was this one professor.
I mean, I can give
Do you want to charge, you can charge it to your,
Let's charge it.
I can, yeah, I just have to, Bobby
When she
just
really caught
tell her
it,
who wants to charge it to their.
I was in music school, so I had slightly different rules. But most people were encouraged to take that class. And what it ultimately was like, now you're in college, you can't be homophobic anymore. It was like, we're gonna write about stuff like how to treat humans like humans and how to not be completely awful.
my first major assignment. The schools in the community college.
Even that's
Why
even.
it shouldn't be called, because James Monroe owned slaves, and he also never even came around officers, and why is there such a bad, you know?
Yeah,
So it's pretty good.
well, like, you're really Monroe muffler.
I do have paper and pencils here if anybody wants any, but I don't know if you'll need them, but they're here. Lots of- And 7:19. I think we're gonna go ahead and start soon. Because one place says the class is 7:15 and another place said it's at 7:30.
And I saw that too.
Yeah. And I was like,
thought it was 7:30, then I saw 7:15 and.
Yeah. And I'm here anyway, so. But we will see about some of the other people. So let's, who was here? Well, we'll go ahead and get started. And I know that Rabbi and Cantor will come in for a little bit at some point, at least to say hello. But welcome to Judaism 101. We'll talk in a minute about why, we're here.
There's someone in the waiting room.
Thank you. Thank you. That helps. All right, we'll wait till. Okay, well, welcome. Welcome here and on Zoom. So I'm Pauline. I met some of you I've known for a while. Some of you I met tonight at our other class, and some of you will get to meet now. I hear footsteps. We'll see if those are coming in here. And they are, in fact. Welcome.
What's the situation? Are we waiting for?
We're gonna go ahead and get started, I think. We've got one joining us on Zoom, and we're all here.
I expect that some will maybe come at 7:30.
And that's okay, because then we can reintroduce ourselves, but we'll be able to move on and do things. Yeah,
Wonderful. How many of you are Hebrew?
in the Hebrew, my Hebrew class.
At the Hebrew class of 6. Okay, so there's some correlation, but it's not, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
This whole thing is a bit of an experiment.
I counted, we had 20 people in the Hebrew class. That was,
Incredible.
yeah. I was,
So,
and I brought like 18 little whiteboards thinking that's more than we'll need. We have like 15 people in the class.
right. So, yeah, so you wanted to say a few words and then I'll let you be, or how should we do this? Yeah. All right. So most of you, I think I met. Some of you I know very well. I see some of you a lot, and some of you I think I've met once or twice, and I'm really happy to be here. Kind of funny because I kind of made a big speech at the beginning of the previous class at 6, but I'll
Do it again.
It's going to be slightly different. So I'm Rabbi or Zohar, senior rabbi here at Temple Sinai, and I'm very, very excited about this new learning opportunity that we're establishing on Monday evenings. It's been a dream of mine since I got here to start this, because recognizing that there's a need for a kind of the ground level of adult education here, because we have Kabbalah classes and other classes, but kind of where do you start, right? And luckily for us, Pauline Rosenberg is, how long have you been here at Temple Sinai?
This is my 29th year teaching seventh
Okay,
grade
so
here.
A little longer than I have been, right? And it teaches the youth here, and I've done a lot of things at Temple. There are times has agreed to come and teach and made this possible. So I'm really happy that you're here.
Thank you.
And so I think you're launching now an amazing journey that, hopefully with these 15 weeks, you will be able to either, whether it's really the first time that you're learning about Judaism in an organized way, or if you're just brushing, kind of here to remember what you learned 30 years ago, or not quite, or whatever reason brought you here. Welcome. This place is inclusive. This place is accepting. Whether you're here because you're considering converting to Judaism, or because you've been Jewish for 1,000 years but never really learned it, or if you're just curious, if you're another faith, or agnostic, I just want to learn. Welcome. This is going to be an exciting group, and I think also the human encounter here will be no less fascinating than what you're going to do by now.
That's all part of it.
Something that Pauline is probably going to expand about later on. Judaism is fascinating because we're not even sure exactly what it is, right? So I'm not going to ruin your activity, but can I say that in my word?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that, yes,
so-
but you said maybe I was gonna do that, so I'm
So I'm
saying,
sure
yes, I
that you
am.
will, but for my 2 cents is that, whether it's maybe for us Judaism is a culture or a religion or a spiritual path or a connection to Israel or a food that we love or whatever it is that connects us, or a nation or an ethnic group, which is also part of what Judaism is. There's not one correct answer to it. There's many, and Pauline are going to talk to you more about it. I hope I'm not ruining your methodology.
Not at all, not at all,
You know?
not at all.
And just to say that, all these answers and directions are not mutually exclusive. They're all true, and there's more than one reason to be here, right? And so whatever it is that brings you here, it's valid, it's legitimate, we respect it, we want to accommodate it. And I wish I could attend the course, because because it's such an amazing time. Every time we learn these core parts of who we are. We learn it in a new way. I will be coming to teach you guys a number of times throughout the year. So this is not just Pauline who teaches, it's Miss Rosenberg. It's are you Pauline or Miss Rosenberg here?
Here is Pauline works.
Because
Yeah,
the kid is,
yeah.
So Cantor Braun will be teaching some of this, and I will be teaching some of this. So I'm going to be seeing more of you later on. Anything else I should know before I go to the choir? It's a very busy night here at Temple, which is wonderful. Yeah, so, oh, and I'm a resource to you guys. So some of you already meeting regularly for various reasons. For those of you who are not, if you're here, if something in the classroom, was like mind grappling or confusing or great and you want to talk more about it, right? You can schedule with me and meet with me, and so I want to be a resource to you guys as needed. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Good luck. Break a leg.
We say-
Behatzlacha. Yes.
We say toda rabba.
Bevakasha.
So as Rabbi said, he and Cantor, Braun and I will all be teaching. Tonight they'll both pop in, but usually it's going to be one of us. I think you're stuck with me till after the holidays, after Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, because they're too busy. But after that, it's going to be broken up, who's teaching what. Each week is going to have a different theme. And I actually, because I don't know that you ever saw what the themes are. So I didn't give you a whole lot of detail of what it is, but I gave you a little bit, you're welcome, of what it is we're gonna do each week. And we'll read through it because I don't have it to share on Zoom because this one is not my computer. So, and I didn't realize until after I'd already printed these out that we were doing Zoom tonight, so. You're welcome. But we'll go ahead and read through them a little bit so that our friends on Zoom can see what we're doing. So tonight is really this introduction. What is Judaism? And it'll give us also a chance to get to know each other a little bit as we go through and just brainstorm a whole bunch of what Judaism looks like to us today, because that might change by the end. Next week, we're doing one of my favorite things. We're going to be talking about Jewish values and personal midot. Midot are translated here as character traits.
This is the next class?
This is Judaism 101.
They're not signed it, well, it's a problem.
Okay, well, you can still come in. For the Hebrew class, we had like 5 or 6 people who hadn't signed up and were more than welcome to stay and. Always, the more the merrier, and the friendly faces always.
We don't know you.
No, not for Halloween. Yeah, I didn't teach your kids in 7th grade or anything. So actually, we're just gonna go through this and then we're gonna introduce ourselves and get to know each other. But we were just saying that each of these 15 classes has a different theme. And some weeks I'll be teaching, some weeks Cantor will be teaching, some weeks Rabbi will be teaching. Though I'm not gonna tell you who's, I mean, I can if you want to know, I can tell you, but because I do know. But next week we're doing one of my favorite things. We're talking about values and we're talking about kind of who we are, characters. I don't want to take too much time, but that's next week. In 2 weeks, we're going to talk about God and humanity. And if you don't believe in God, that's okay in Judaism. And we'll talk about how that fits and what it is. And maybe what your view of God is different than mine, or maybe you're not believing in God. We still might be able to fit in all of that. So that's what we'll do in 2 weeks. Then we have a little break because there's Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. Actually, that's after Rosh Hashanah, but there's still some break because this, I think Sukkot is Monday night. For whatever reason, we have a few weeks off. And then we'll come back and talk about texts, because Jewish texts, T-E-X-T texts are important. The Torah, but it's more than just the Torah. And kind of the beginning of Judaism. The 27th of October, starting with the calendar and Shabbat. Shabbat is every week. November 3rd, talking more specifically about the high holy days, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, even though it's after the fact, but we can reflect on what had just happened. November 10th, the Jewish life cycle, Jewish traditions throughout different stages of life. November 17th, we're going to get into some history. I love talking about Jewish history, as you'll find as well. we're gonna start ancient history from the time of the temples. This is Judaism 101. Come on in. We're just kind of getting started. I waited to do all our introductions because we're gonna be getting some. We're just going over these topics for the next 15 weeks. So we're we were at November 17th, ancient Israel, up through the Enlightenment. It's a lot of history to pack into just over an hour. November 24th, more holidays, Sukkot, Passover, Shavuot. December 1st, prayers and folklore, culture. December 8th, spirituality and Kabbalah, mysticism. December 15th, more holidays, Hanukkah, Purim, and other minor holidays. Then we're into January 5th, anti-Semitism and the Holocaust. January 12th, Israel in this Jewish story, how does Israel fit in, and modern Israel. And then our very last class, we'll talk about modernity, what's happening now. So that's kind of a little overview. Welcome. Are getting more people coming in. This is great. There are two different places. One place said that the class starts at 7:15 and one said 7:30. So we weren't really sure when we should start. So we kind of started at about 7. Yeah, we kind of started at 7:20 with all these introductions, and I'm going very slowly so that we could wait until everyone came. So, what? I didn't, I teach the beginning Hebrew from 6 to 7. I just knew afterwards is this one. And one place I read 7:15, one I read 7:30. I don't know. I think we'll have to vote on when we want and there are about 5 people who are doing both classes. So if 15 minutes is enough, if people can get here by 7:15, we'll start at 7:15. Is that good? Yeah, and if you can't make it that early, then you'll miss the little introduction and we'll still be fine. Everybody's welcome at any time. So, okay, so I'm Pauline. Hi, if we haven't met, some of you, again, I haven't met and some I have. There is a book for the class. You won't need the book in class. It's mostly reading for at home. It's called The Jewish Home. The book is $18, cash check, or I can charge it to a temple account or have Bobby charge it to a temple account. And you don't have to buy the book today, but it's there. Yeah, so what brings me, we're gonna go around, we're gonna talk about like what brings us here. So what brings me here is that it's time for me to be teaching more adult classes after being, again, this is my 29th year teaching 7th grade here. Absolutely crazy. And in the rest of my life, I teach people of all ages. I run a nonprofit that I founded in 22 called Rochester Lace, Language Acquisition and Cultural Exchange. We do English language programs for immigrants and refugees. So this morning I had our moms and tots English class. So I teach adults and little kids, and then we have one class for older refugees. I teach people of all ages, but it's time that at Temple I was doing something with adults as well and add something to my plate. So that's what brings me here. Of course, it was more like Cantor and Rabbi said, do you want to teach us? I'm like, okay. So we're going to go around. You're going to tell me who you are. You can do it in English. If you were in Hebrew class, we did learn how to do it in Hebrew. You can do it in English or Hebrew. Who you are and what brought you here. And maybe also what you hope to get out of this class, if you have something. And we'll start here. Oh, thank you. We've got somebody else. Thank you. That's why I kept it up, because I knew I would need help. Okay, great. And thinking that it's 7:30. So welcome to everybody who's here in person and on Zoom. We're also, after we introduce ourselves around the table, we're going to ask our friends on Zoom if you don't mind unmuting and introducing yourself as well. But we'll go this way if you don't mind, Chris.
Sure, I'm Chris. I'm here because I'm starting the conversion process. And generally what I'm hoping to get out of this class, I was raised Roman Catholic, so I sort of know all the stories and stuff like that and what they would call the Old Testament and all that sort of stuff. But having the Jewish perspective on those stories is what I'm hoping to get out of this class.
Excellent. We can do some of that. We aren't going to be doing stories in all of this, but we can definitely do that. Hi.
Hi, I'm Wallace.
Hi.
I kind of was drawn here mostly from my partner, but I want to kind of explore Judaism a little bit, kind of get more of a deeper understanding and just kind of explore a little bit.
Great, well, welcome.
I'm Jeff, and I guess I'm just kind of trying to fill in some of the
Yeah.
gaps or.
That's a great way to put it.
Challenge some of the
Mhm.
assumptions that I have had for the last 50+ years.
Mm-hmm.
That's really it, and now that I have time, since all my kids are gone. I can do that.
That's great, welcome.
I'm Emma. I've actually already started the conversion process with Cantor Braun. And I've already been through like a Judaism like 101 class and graduated from that, but I thought I'd like do another one just to gain a deeper understanding.
Oh, wonderful. Good, thank you.
I grew up in a cult that was very similar to Judaism, so I've grown up with a lot of Jewish holidays and traditions. But as I'm exploring Judaism for myself, I'm learning like the quote unquote correct things to do things, although the Talmud doesn't necessarily have a correct way to do anything.
There's, it's Judaism,
so-
there's never one way to do anything. You'll find. Oh, you can come up, we've got room. There's a lot of space, it's up to you.
I have to sit back here.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
I'm glad you're here.
But when we get to you, if you could just, when we get around, if you could just introduce yourself, when, okay. Was there anything else?
Oh, and I've read a lot of books by like Anita Diamond on the subject of like choosing a Jewish life, building a Jewish home.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to read something as a group and have those discussions is like something I'm excited for.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure that we're gonna do so much reading and discussion, but we can. I mean, if that's what you guys want, we'll do it. Yeah. I yes. It's all good. That's one reason that I need to know what you want to do.
I'm Mason. I've been on my conversion journey for over a year now, and I'm just hoping to have a deeper understanding of the ideas that I know a little bit about because I've been doing my own research, reading on my own, but definitely looking forward to also having it be a little bit more professional, talking to people that know what they're talking about. Yeah.
Good.
I'm Frank. I'm converting to Judaism and want to learn as much as I can, and that's why I'm here. And also, I like being with all the friends I've made at Temple Sinai.
That's great. Welcome.
I'm Stacy. I actually am on the adult ed committee. And when I joined the adult ed committee years ago, one of the things I wanted and the reasons I joined it is I wanted to go back and learn the basics. As I'm thinking now, it's been 50 years since my bat mitzvah. So it's a long time ago. And it's just learning the basics and just seeing, and exploring different things that maybe we didn't learn when I was younger. So that's what I'm looking for.
Wonderful.
I'm Lori. And there's a multitude of reasons as to why I want to take this course. I've taken it previously in Pennsylvania years ago, but everybody teaches different and everybody brings something new to the table. But we've been members of Temple Sinai for a year now, and Fred is my husband. Fred is truly immersed here, and I am just looking for ways for myself to fill in the gaps and bring more of what we have here, bring more out into the community.
Great.
Because I'm a registered nurse, I work with people all the time, and
that's great.
There's never enough.
No, there's never enough. Great.
Claudia. I'd like to, get context for things that I remember growing up doing. I was born and raised in Russia until I was 10 in a household of Holocaust survivors who practiced kind of under the radar. It wasn't until I was here that I learned that I was Jewish. So a lot of things that I thought were Russian, going through college and stuff, I started learning that they were actually Jewish, so I was
Wow.
like, maybe I should check this out.
I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, thanks, man.
I'm Jeff and I'm married to Esther and I was brought up Catholic, so this is just a way for me to get a better understanding of Judaism.
Well, I'm Esther, the other half, and our fine President Elise said board members should come to a bunch of these classes and see how things are going. Because I was raised Jewish, we raised our kids Jewish, they got bar mitzvah here. So we'll just learn, always room to learn more.
Hi, I'm Leslie. I'm just starting the conversion process, although I've been doing a lot of my own independent research for many years. I was also raised Catholic. I've been reading Choosing a Jewish Home and those books, and I'm just excited to be in a course to learn just more about all that.
That's great. And we're gonna go in the back.
I'm Ellen Finkelman. I'm here because but I kind of like what Stacy said, it's been a long time.
Okay.
And just want to know the basics.
Okay, great. Thank you. And we have some friends on Zoom if, oh, yeah. Richard, hi.
Richard Finkelman, and we've been signing out 2 years, and I'm here as a refresher update.
And we're glad you're here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nancy.
Hi,
And
Nancy.
yeah, it's very weird the way this is going on Zoom. But anyway, I was brought up culturally Jewish, but I have a lot of gaps. And interestingly enough, I have a son and his 3 children that are very much into Judaism. So I want to catch up to them at least.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you. And Salem, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
So sorry my video doesn't work. I am a broke college student. I can't fix it at this point in time. But hello, I'm Salem. I'm taking this class on my conversion journey. And I'm just really excited to learn and be part of a religious community again.
Wonderful. Well, we're so glad that you're here, and hopefully Salem and Nancy will be able to come in person at least some of the time, because it's going to make us more of a community if we can be in person as much as possible, I think. So what is Judaism? That's really the question tonight, and that's why I brought this paper, because another plug, the book is $18. If you haven't bought it, you can get it cash, check, or we can charge it to your account. So I'm gonna open up this paper because we're gonna brainstorm. I was thinking that we would be in conference room A. That's where I had heard until this afternoon. And then I was gonna put it in the middle of the table where we could all really participate. This is gonna make it a little, oh, that's all the papers. Okay, that'll be enough. But I wanted to brainstorm, and I thought our paper would be bigger. This will work. On Zoom, I'm just making a lot of noise. You can't really see what I'm doing. But I've got a big piece of paper. And I want us to brainstorm, what is Judaism? I'm gonna see if I can color code it as we go. Otherwise, I'm gonna circle afterwards, and that'll make a little bit more sense as we go. But we're gonna just kind of shout out, what is Judaism? A word, a phrase, something that resonates with you.
So I'll start.
Thank you, because somebody's got to start. Yeah.
My grandparents were Jewish, and my parents were Jewish, and I'm Jewish, and my kids were all raised Jewish, and now my granddaughter is here as a student, and so tradition is something that we all get together for the holidays and so tradition is probably.
So I was thinking you were gonna say family, but you're saying tradition.
Yeah.
Tradition, okay, I taught all four of us.
Hang out with the phone now for.
She's in fourth grade? She's in
Yes.
fifth grade. Okay, tradition.
Certain foods?
Thank you. Foods. Actually, we'll put that in the same color for now. We could just fill up this whole page with food, but food. What else?
Practices.
Ellen, what?
Culture.
Culture. We can talk later about what that is more specifically. Yeah, Richard.
Excuse me, I think being Jewish or Judaism can be defined two ways, or one that it's a religion, but it's also almost a race.
Ethnicity?
Yeah, I mean, it's both.
Yeah. In Hebrew, we say Am Yisrael, the people of Israel. And the people, I mean, we are, whether you're just on the road to conversion or you were born Jewish, but we're all Am Yisrael, the people of Israel. We're all here. What does that mean? What does that look like? We all look different. If we look around the world, there are Jews that.
Pauline, do you mind if I close the doors?
No, please do. Thank you. That's a good board member job.
What about history?
What?
What about history?
History, yeah. Let's give that its own color. Okay.
It's about community.
Community, yeah, that's. I'm not sure if I can really color code these very. Community.
Practices.
Practices.
Like the practice of what?
Like rituals, like prayers, which
Ritual-
one?
I would say practices. Probably like rituals, but rituals like for the same reason that we have a Passover Seder, or we light candles on Hanukkah. These are practices.
Okay, so rituals, practice, I'll put them together. But you mentioned a few other things right there too that we can put on here.
I'm learning.
Yeah, my favorite.
Celebration.
Yeah, celebrations. Stacy mentioned a couple of holidays and we didn't.
They are
that's just
holidays.
Celebrations, but we have different types of celebrations, not just holidays. But we could list all our holidays on here as well. Oh, you can't really see it anyway. Life cycles. And we'll be spending, we have one class. Unfortunately, if you look at the list of all the things that we're doing, none of them can really be finished in one class. What we're talking about, to all life cycle events in one class, and this huge amount of history. And we'll do the best that we can and hopefully spark, some of you are doing reading on your own, they'll spark some more things. And you can see ahead what we're doing and yeah, we'll get to questions afterwards but you can look ahead and think of questions that you want. What else is Judaism? What are we forgetting on here?
Learning.
We got learning.
Oh,
Got
It's a covenant.
covenant. That needs its own color.
Controversial is that? Can we get controversial?
You can do anything you want.
How about Zionism?
Blue. Okay. Well, that's we used blue, but that's all right. Zionism. We can put Israel. I mean, it's part of who we are. Everything that we do is part of who we are, and the beauty of Reform Judaism. And I'll say it over and over again, and I'm sure Rabbi and Cantor will as well. The beauty of Reformed Judaism is that we're going to make our own choices, but they're going to be informed. Reform Judaism is not, oh, I'm not just doing things, or I don't do that. Reform Judaism in its essence is, I know I've learned these things, but this is what works for me. And so this is what I'm gonna do. And so we're not gonna necessarily have heated political debates in our class, but there are, because that's not what this class is all about. But there's no reason to not put something on our list of what is Judaism. Yeah.
Did we have charity? Yeah.
But charity, I'm gonna write tzedakah, because there's a big difference. And we'll talk about that too, but we will talk about tzedakah. So tzedakah is not really charity. It comes from, so if those of you who are in Hebrew, it comes from a Hebrew root, a 3-letter root. Hebrew, this fabulous language, is built on each word grouping of a root of 3 letters. And from that root, we grow all these words. So we take the root Tzad, Dalef, and Kuf, 3 letters we haven't learned yet. But we can grow that into one word, tzedakah, another word, tzedek, or tzadik. It all comes from the word that means righteousness. So tzedakah, it's an obligation, and we do it out of righteousness. We do it because it's the right thing to do. Whereas charity, the root of the word charity comes from your heart. You do it because it makes you feel good. We go beyond that with tzedakah, and it's not just charity. This is my obligation, is to take care of other people and to do something about it.
Yeah.
So instead of writing charity, I'm going to write tzedakah.
And then tikkun olam.
Yeah.
In the same,
Just wait. So next week is going to be one of my favorite. We're talking about some of my favorite things. Next week, we're talking about values and midot and who we are. So it's who we are and how we relate to the world. So tikkun olam, if you haven't heard this yet, is this wonderful phrase. Tikkun is a fixing, and olam is the world. So we're repairing the world. We're fixing the world. There's a story, and we love stories in Judaism. We just love stories. So there's a story. It's kind of the Kabbalistic, the mystical version of the creation of the world. So before the creation of the world, and as we start talking about Torah, which we don't spend much time on, unfortunately, here, but if we take the first word of Torah, Bereshit, it doesn't really translate as in the beginning, which it does in many of the translations. Bereshit means about the time of the start. That bet at the beginning changes the reshit, the beginning, to in the time of, or about that time. So before the actual creation of the world, God's light filled the world. The light of God was so strong and so wonderful and filled the world, that it filled up the world. So in order to create the world, God needed to contract some of that light and bring in some of that light so there would be room for the world. And that light was put into vessels to hold and contain that light. And yet the light of God cannot be contained. And so these vessels broke and they shattered and they went all over the world. And that light, those sparks, are the sparks of God that we find in ourselves and in other creatures and in the world. Throughout the world, scattered in the world, we find these sparks of God. And yet the pieces of the broken vessel are the ills of the world. And it's our job to repair the world and fix and collect all those pieces of the broken vessel that held God's light so that we can make the world a better place. So there we are. That's tikkun olam. That's the essence. I got a million stories. Rabbi probably has more, but I have a million stories. But this is the essence of how we are and who we are. And a little bit, we'll talk in a couple of weeks, we'll talk about God as well, but all of this, it's all interchanged. Okay, what else do we find? Concern.
like, I heard a description that in Judaism, we don't have faith, we have concern. And if you, instead of having faith in a God that will do something, it's being concerned about godly things. And as long as you're concerned about the state of things, you're practicing a different kind of, not blind faith.
We do not have, there is faith in Judaism, but not blind faith. It's not that this is how you must be, right? And it's not just, oh, you know, God's gonna fix the world for me.
Yeah.
We have to do that. If we have a spark of God inside of ourselves, which we will talk about, we have to be partners with God and make the world a better place. And we have to take care of everyone. And that's what the Torah tells us to do. And that's what we should do. So but I never heard it put exactly like that in those terms, but that's, I'm not sure what to write down here, but yeah.
I don't know the word for it, but we don't believe in just being good to get a reward.
Oh, no.
We believe in being good because we believe in being good and doing the right thing.
Because it's the right thing to do.
So I don't know the word.
So we're all born with free choice. There is no question. We have free choice. We're all born with what we call in Hebrew a yetzer hatov and a yetzer hara. The inclination towards good and the inclination towards evil or bad, the other side. It's our choice to choose one or the other. And we should always choose good. That's what another thing, it's going to be so hard to keep it in 1 hour next time, but we're also going to be talking about how we balance ourselves. So there's this ancient Jewish practice of musar, which we'll talk about more next week. But in musar, all of our traits, these midot, which are actually measures of different traits within us, we'd like to keep them in balance. Whether that trait is humility, whether it's gratitude, whether it's envy, whether it's patience, whatever it is, we want to keep it in balance. And there are times when it won't be. And that's okay, as long as we understand and we try and work towards balance, because we can't get rid of those things that we might consider negative traits. They're part of who we are, but we can keep them in balance. And we can try and step back and build our patience so that we don't explode right away. In studying patience in the Musar thought, you want to try and keep as if you are a match, and you want to keep your match from that fuse so that you don't explode. So your patience is trying to distance yourself from something that will set you up. It's not always easy. And it doesn't mean that it won't happen, but just try and be more mindful of, So it's a lot of what we're doing today is more of, this is to come, and when it's going to come, and what we're going to do. But next week, we're going to be talking about these values, all of these values, and also delving into a little bit of Musar. One of my favorite things to do. I've been doing Musar with my 7th graders for about 3 or 4 years now, since post-COVID. It's really interesting for them to explore who they are, and we should all be doing it all the time. It's Musar is a practice. It's not something you just, I'm going to read about it. You have to do. Okay, again, back to practices. It's another type of practice, different than lighting our Shabbat kind of stuff. Yeah.
So that's
Mitzvot. Oh, thank you. Let's put those on here too, because they're not on here yet. Now, mitzvot are commandments. A mitzvah is often translated as a good deed, but a mitzvah is not necessarily. I mean, there are good deeds we can do, but a mitzvah is a commandment. It's in Torah. A commandment comes from Torah. We have, anyone know the magic number?
613.
Yes, excellent. There are 613 commandments in Torah. And so a mitzvah is going to tell us what to do, how to do it, what not to do. There's a lot more, actually more negative mitzvot than positive when saying, don't do this, don't do that. But they also give us those wonderful rituals for the holidays. Maybe not always going through the how of doing them, but it tells us what to do for holidays. It tells us what to do for there. So mitzvot are commandments. Midot are your character traits, measures. And then we also have all these wonderful values that we are going to explore. And some of them, they're all intertwined because it's all part and parcel of the same things and who we are. And we have to really also be mindful of ourselves. So there's another story. The Chofetz Chaim, who was a great rabbi in the mid 1800s to the end of the 1800s, or early into the 20th century as well, happens to be my great grandfather's cousin. But the Chofetz Chaim spoke a lot about good speech, which we can get to another time about not lashon hara is evil speech and not gossiping or is gossip. So you don't want to do that. And that's what he's really known for. But the Chofetz Chaim also said that in his life, he wanted to change the world, but he couldn't do it. So he thought, well, maybe I can change and make my town better. And I can help and work on my town. And it was too much. He couldn't do it. My family, I'm going to make my family better. I'm going to change my family. Couldn't do it. I'm going to make myself better. I'm going to change myself and make myself better. And once he could do that, once he could change himself and make himself into a better person, it affected his family and his town and ultimately the world. So we have to start with ourselves. Yeah. Million stories, million quotes. What else are we missing here?
Talmud.
Talmud, and we also don't have Torah on here yet. Talmud, Torah, all of our we have learning, and they are truly connected. But all of our books, and sometimes we call Torah all of our learning. We just call all of Jewish learning Torah. The Torah is technically the scroll that we'll see and we'll talk about. The Talmud is called the oral Torah. Have you heard that before? So the Talmud is this oral Torah, these great rabbis who lived thousands of years ago, from about 200 or so BCE, before the Common Era, is when they really started to talk, and they were trying to make sense of the Torah and to understand the Torah. So it orally went through back and forth and this and that, and lots of debate, lots of argument, lots of questions. And it was all so good. And they had to remember. And then around the year 200 CE, so already like 400 years later, this was started to be written down and compiled by a great rabbi named Yehuda Hanassi. And this is what we call the Mishnah. The Mishnah is the writing down of these great rabbis and what they thought. But this is only the first half of the Talmud. From then on, it happened again, that they would read the Mishnah, they would read the Torah, and then they had more to say. So around the year 500 CE, so again, about 300 years later, this was written in two different places. It was written in Babylon. We have what we call the Babylonian Talmud. The Gemara, actually the second half of this Talmud, the second half of this debate is the Gemara. So you put the Mishnah and the Gemara together. And in Babylon, we have the Babylonian Talmud. And there was also in Jerusalem, they have the Jerusalem Talmud. So there's a lot that's similar in these two, but often when you hear just Talmud, it's the Babylonian Talmud. If something is quoted from the Jerusalem Talmud, it's going to specifically say Jerusalem Talmud. Not that that one's bad, but it's just not as known or used. The Babylonian Talmud is the one most people refer to.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that by the time that was written, there wasn't more debate going on, but it wasn't considered this oral law after that. And the Talmud is this incredible volume after volume after volume, 6 volumes of Talmud. And so much in there, so much rich stuff in there. And part of the beauty of it is it's got both sides of the argument in a lot of cases, because that argument was so important and that debate was so important. And it's got this and that side, because you don't want to say, oh, I won, and so that's what we're gonna write it here in our history. Both sides were so important that we read that other side, even if we don't follow the practice. We still need to know what they were talking about and still respect their views. And that's part of the beauty of Judaism, is that we're gonna respect all the views, even if we might not follow that tradition. You know, this and that, they're both words of God. In essence, there's Rabbi coming, you're coming back in? No, he's just checking on us. He's looking at us. Okay. Yeah.
How about celebrating life? I mean, we dance after the services and everyone's happy and
We've got
enjoying it.
celebration, celebration of life, we're gonna talk about with life cycle. But celebrating life,
yeah.
celebrating everything that we can, all the time, yeah. Food, music, dance, food, and back to food, and it's all.
The food and the food, all the
Food
time.
and the food, yeah. And what they say about every holiday, oh, they came, they wanted to kill us, we won, let's eat. That's, yeah. Let me check our time.
Running throughout mostly Reform Judaism, but not exclusively, is inclusivity.
Thank you, that's a beautiful thing to add on here, yes. It's not exclusively Reform, especially now, but also egalitarianism. And as we look, when we talk about Judaism, we don't want to only talk about what we do as Reformed Jews, we need to understand the big picture. So if we go to an Orthodox temple, the men and women are sitting separately. The women will never read from the Torah. Yeah, and there are some places that women are, they won't even listen to women singing. Not necessarily in Rochester, that going that extreme, but yeah, but inclusivity. Everyone is welcome here. Everyone is accepted. Everyone is treated equally and treated with dignity. Actually, throughout Judaism, it's a big piece of treating people with dignity. Always it tells us in Torah to look out for the women, the stranger, the poor, the widow, the orphan, the stranger, over and over again. It tells us 36 times in Torah to welcome the stranger. And make sure that you want to treat everyone with kindness, respect, with dignity. We'll also talk next week a little bit about how we're all created in God's image. We talked already that we all have a little spark of God, but we're all created in the image of God. And what does that mean? That means that you definitely have to treat people with dignity and respect, because we are all the face of God. Okay, God doesn't have a physical face, but if we all have a spark of God inside of us, which we can talk, when we talk about God, we can get there if we need to. But every time we look at someone and look at them in the eye and we speak to them, it's as if we're talking to God. How can we not treat everyone with kindness and respect and dignity? To me, I don't understand them, but that's why I'm doing what I do. What else? Shema. Prayers. Yeah. It's not color-coded anymore. It's too hard to do that. Shema and prayers. Yeah, but the Shema is so key, because just listen. The word Shema means to hear. So often we say listen, but it literally means to hear. Shema. Hear what's out there. Hear. There's only one God. It becomes so important if you also getting back to history and putting things in context. At the time, all the other peoples had lots of gods. All the other peoples, and we'll find some of the practices that if we read about things in Torah, and we can read some practices that happened in Torah that we don't necessarily agree with, but if we put them in the light of what the other cultures at the time were doing, we can see that Judaism was a little step more humane, a little step ahead of where the others were, even if they're not as inclusive and egalitarian as today, but trying a little bit. And sometimes you can't jump, but had they jumped, we wouldn't be here today, because you can only go baby steps. And so in biblical times, they took baby steps away from the other cultures, but it was huge. One God. But it's also that we are all one. The unity of all of us is right there in the Shema. Echad. Echad is one. Yeah, we'll learn how to count. We'll probably do some counting here too, just because we can't help it. But Echad, we're all the same.
At its core, isn't it a system of beliefs?
At its core, it's a system of practices more than beliefs.
Practices more than beliefs?
Yes, because you don't have to believe in God to do all of these things. You can still give tzedakah, you can still help your neighbors, you can still follow all those things, you can still light your candles on Shabbat, and you follow through, you practice Judaism. We often say that, but we practice Judaism more than it's if we call it a religion of blind faith. We practice what we do. And yes, there are things, but you don't have to believe all this stuff to practice and to believe that we are all equal. But more than believing like the Torah stories are true, and the Torah word for word is gospel, to use a different word or borrow a word. It's, to me, when I read the stories in Torah, I don't care if they happened or not. It's not history to me. I'm learning truths with a capital T. It's teaching me how to be a better person and how to live my life. I don't necessarily want to live my life like those people in the Torah. I want to learn from them, and I want to take and learn about their good traits, but we learn some things that are not so nice about them. King David was not necessarily such a nice guy, though he was a great king, and he was a great warrior, and he did some wonderful things. He might not have been such a nice person. Looking at Sarah in the Torah, Sarah, our mother, she wasn't so nice to Hagar. Hagar was her handmaid. She couldn't have children. She gave her handmaid to Abraham. That was the custom. So he would have a child through her, which he did, Ishmael. But then she got a little jealous and kicked him out. So she wasn't necessarily so nice all the time. But neither are we. We might strive to be good people, but we're not nice all the time. We have our inclination to good and our inclination to evil and try to keep ourselves balanced, but I know I'm never as balanced as I'd like. I try to use good words and be kind, but sometimes something comes up. I try not to get too angry, but sometimes I'll explode. Maybe not as often, but it happens. So I don't really think, personally, I don't really think of Judaism as a set of beliefs. But again, we could all think differently. We could all believe differently about all of this stuff. And there is no one right answer with Judaism, which is good, especially in Reform Judaism. Orthodoxy may have more strict lines, but even within that, there isn't room for interpretation. Maybe not as much room, but there's still some room for interpretation. What else? Yeah.
Judaism, to me at least, is very humanist. It asks us to try to see the inherent good in all people.
That's great. Thank you. Yes, it does. We want to see the good in people. We want to respect people. hopefully everyone's got at least a little bit of good in them, and we can find that. Sometimes you have to dig deep. But yeah, the good over the bad. Another thing, speaking of the good, is that we want to do the best that we can in this life. Because in Judaism, we're not living our lives for what is to come. We don't know exactly what's going to come. We'll probably talk about the afterlife, and there's several possibilities. Judaism has no one right answer for the afterlife either, because we don't know. And there are many answers. But we do know that we have this life. And so we want to make the most of this life that we have, because there might not be anything afterwards. We don't know. We're not counting on it. We're not like believing something so that we can get to a better life, because let's just make this one better. And then if something else happens later, okay, great. Then we'll deal with that. But yeah. But we will, when we talk about life cycle, we'll throw that in as well. Another thing that's missing from here are questions, because Judaism is always full of questions. Questions, questions, questions. We don't always have all the answers, but we have questions. So it's really important to me, and also to Cantor and Rabbi, that you ask questions, or if you have questions, ask. And if I don't know, I'll look it up. Rabbi probably knows, but I would look it up. Or I would be able to tell you where, or we can always say that's a rabbi question for the night the rabbi comes. But questions are so important, because if you don't ask questions, then you don't get the answers. Maybe you'll get more questions to help you find the answers yourself. But if you don't have a question, and if you don't ask a question, then you don't have an answer, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So what I was going to try with all my color coding that didn't work was to see all these words that we have and to kind of group them into holidays, group them into maybe things around the home. Judaism is also really centered around the home, with our food and our holiday rituals at home and family. But it didn't quite, you had great responses, but it wasn't so cut and dry that we could circle them in different colors, which is fine. And we're getting tired. I do have one question because of questions. So there are two places that this class was listed. Some places said 7:15, some said 7:30. I just want to make sure now that we have, because we talked about it before, but not everyone was here. But now that everyone is here, is everyone okay with starting at 7:15? Yeah, okay. And if you can't make it quite that early, we might still just start and probably review or get some questions that people have. Yes.
One other thing that is not on there, the chuppah.
The chuppah, we put life cycle, but we didn't specify all of the things. But the chuppah is for a wedding. It's this marriage canopy that is represents a lot of things. But one thing it represents is this home that you have. Everything represents so many things. Actually, there's one thing that this book that you're getting that I like about it is that it tells you something, and then it tells you, well, it might mean this, or this. And that's good, because sometimes we need our own interpretation. But the chuppah is part of our life cycle tradition of revolving around a wedding. And whatever date that is, we're going to be talking about Jewish life cycle on November 10th. Yeah. Any other questions? Or any hopes or dreams? No, I don't do dream interpretation. That was Joseph. But we'll talk about Joseph when we talk Torah.
Well, Pauline,
yes.
with the holidays coming up, I was wondering if you were going to talk anything about them.
We are, but not before. So we have topics set for each class. So the class that's going to be talking about the high holy days is not till November 3rd, till just after the holidays. We'll be talking on October 27th about Shabbat and the Jewish calendar. Then talking November 24th about Passover, Sukkot, Passover, and Shavuot. And December 15th about Hanukkah, Purim, and other holidays. Okay. Only because we're only given 15 classes. And if we're doing basic Judaism, there's just so much. I mean, we could do 15 classes just on holidays, 15 classes just on Torah, which we're not even really delving into Torah because the one class on October 20th is all the texts together. That's not to say that if you want to learn something at a specific time, we can't add it in. Or if you want to talk more about the holidays when they're happening, we can still do that a little bit. But the major focus for the topics is going to stay as it is. Also because Cantor, Braun, and Rabbi Zohar know which nights they're teaching. And they have a specific topic already that they're teaching for each of those classes. I'm doing all the rest of them. So we could mix things up a little bit as we go, but these are the topics that we need to cover to keep it as Judaism 101. Again, 101, maybe next year we go and you tell me what you want to do, and we delve deeper into, maybe it's a deeper dive into 3 topics, and we can really, then we can really read and discuss and do. Any other questions? Cantor? Yes.
Well, I know Rosh Hashanah falls on a Monday this year.
So we will not have class then.
Okay, we'll not have class. Perfect. Thank you.
So on this list, and I'll email if you've officially signed up for this class, then I should have your email. Some of you I don't think I have on that list, but I can email this to you as well. So we have September 8th, which is today, September 15th, September 9th, and then not again till October 20th. 29th. I'm sorry, what did I say? Whatever I said, I'm sorry. September 8th, 15th, 29th, and then October 20th and 27th, just 2 times in October. And then we'll go from there.
Are you going to send those to us?
I will email it, yes.
Oh, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, everyone who I have on my email list. You're welcome. Thank you for coming. If you have other questions, you can stay. If not, then thank you for being here. And those who came for Hebrew too, you stuck out for a long time. That's good. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
You're
Pauline.
welcome. I'm going to end the Zoom. Thank you.